bit in my throat in the picture because it's filled with wrinkles. Looked like a turkey. Start. I want to see if I can put together, I think, 4 strands of thought. Okay, I already made this video, and I'm not really happy to be here doing it again. But there's 4 things I want to get to. One, and the other one is, what I'm starting to see is YouTube videos about people who came to Canada and they're like really chewing us out because they say you're a phony country. You make like you're this multicultural paradise sort of thing or whatever, and allow all kinds of immigration, right? And you've even got any place for us to live. And a lot of them spent a lot of money to get here. It's not easy to immigrate to another country, especially if you bring your kids. So they come here and they wind up being like a lot less wealthy than they were where they came from. People don't like being less wealthy, and they're pissed off, right? Like a lot of Indian people, I would say, they're looking at the situation and thinking, you know, all of us have a job. All of us have a job. We're paying taxes. And in reality, white people are getting old and onto social assistance. So now we're dependent on them. Right? That was the plan all along. But now they're here and they're mad at us. It's expensive, and part of their taxes is to pay, you know, old age security and Canadian pension plan and all that kind of stuff, right? That just pisses them off. Why wouldn't it? You'd be surprised how much the Indian community absolutely hates Trudeau. Like, they've been voting for the Liberals all this time, but I don't mean anybody that likes Trudeau anymore. I mean, that guy's just so pathetic at this point. Like, he's made himself pathetic. I would rather not, like, drag this out. I wish he would just get out of here, because people are gonna get more mean. Like, I saw Tucker Carlson say, and with some really ugly imagery about Chrystia Freeland, that it's really important now that we start to laugh at them, to start mocking them, right? Because Trudeau's so easy to laugh at. I think there was a video of him he was at a hockey game just recently, and he was, like, I feel sorry for him. He's clapping like a child. It's just something, he looks like a kid. He looks like a child. Or a 50-year-old trying to channel his child. It was absolutely just pathetic. He's a narcissist, right? He's absolutely a narcissist. So this kind of embarrassment for a narcissist must be just incredible. There were people I knew who said, well, yeah, but hang on, he appears to enjoy it. But that was a long time ago. Like the India trip, like most people would just kind of give up after the India trip, wouldn't they? Working out. Right day for a workout. Lifting the dumbbells. I lifted 50 pounds halfway with one arm, just like tried to do a curl with 50 pounds. Made it halfway. And my back hurt. What else? The fact that we've got labor unions and university professors and journalists, you know, really siding with Hamas. In fact, the worst one that I heard was in a couple of occasions, and I'm sure it happened more than I read about. What they said is that the decolonization movement in Canada should take inspiration from what the decolonizers did on October 7th in Israel. Heard them say it. Heard them say it. Or in that case, I read what she wrote. It's communism. It's communist dictatorship, just dressed up in identity politics. It's really what it is. Yeah, so other things I looked at today, I was like, I knew about this, but what I did was I just looked up Catholic sexual abuse cases in Canada and discovered that there's been tons of them that didn't involve Aboriginal people at all. Did you know that there are a whole bunch of white ones? Like, I'm not saying it's more important or anything, but what I am saying, if there's been all this talk about what the Catholic Church did, and no corresponding talk about what the Catholic Church did to white kids, is a horrendous lie. Because what the narrative says is that white people are uniquely evil, especially to people of other races. That's the underlying fundamental conception, is that white people are uniquely evil. And so that's why they point out all of ours and none of theirs. And so if they were to talk about the fact that there are all kinds of white kids, why not on equal level? I mean, they're both abused. Well, then, it would destroy their narrative. It would help to deflate their narrative, is what it would do. So they don't talk about it. And that's analogous to the situation with the Barbary pirates in I think it would start like 16th, 1700s and stuff like that. It lasted until the 1800s. But, we've heard so much talk about the Atlantic slaves, right? But where's the talk about what the Barbary pirates did? It was like 2.5 million Europeans, whitey, were enslaved in the Middle East. About 2.5 million. Think of that. Think of all the destruction that they must have wreaked across Europe to pull those people out of there. Europe was a sort of a developed place at that time. Kind of, right? And they went in there and they had a real penchant for stealing women, I think. You'd think the feminists would be on that, but anyway, maybe I'll add one more thing. Anybody who would vote for Trudeau again at this point, a Canadian who would vote for him again, a Canadian that can't just stand up and say, no, there's not a hope in hell I would vote for that guy again, unless he becomes a completely different man tomorrow and stays that way for 2 years and does heroic acts. Then maybe I'd vote for him. But basically, just not a chance in hell would I vote for him. Anybody that can't say that, you gotta screw loose. For real.
I've just figured out Trudeau's diagnosis. He's narcissistic and a psychopath, but what he is a masochist. Because only a masochist could want to stay around with the thorough trouncing that he's gotten from intellectuals all around the world. Like, that's not something to be taken lightly. He visited the Prime Minister, the President of Australia, and when he described it, he said, at one point I had to say, Justin, we're not here to talk about your socks. I don't give a shit about your socks, right? Like, it's that bad? How do Canadians feel sending out? We must be masochists too. But yeah, that's the diagnosis I'd give that guy. Too bad he's dragging us down with him.